Well, good afternoon. If it's Monday, 3 o'clock Eastern, it's Mondays with Michael Live here on Facebook. Thank you all for checking out the video today. If you're watching this live, thanks for being in the room. If you're watching this post session on one of our social media accounts, thank you for checking it out. Today is our fifth and last in the series of teamwork that we're going to be working with this spring. We're calling it hashtag Better Teams. It's the fifth in a series of the 5 dysfunctions or the 5 behaviors of a cohesive team, depending if you're reading the book or if you're using the assessment. As always, we're using this assessment again. It's one of our best-selling team tools offered to us by Wiley. And so the fifth session for us is all about results. So just kind of recap where we were. We've done the trust module, we've done the conflict module, we've done the commitment module. Last week we talked about accountability, peer-to-peer accountability, and today we're going to work on results. So the way we deliver the program is, as I mentioned earlier, it's in 5 half days, but this program can be delivered in 1 full day, can be delivered in 3 full days if you want to do the full program. Again, I do the program in 5 half days. I make it a skill building program. As I mentioned last week, the accountability module tends to be the toughest one for the group. Peer-to-peer accountability tends to be a new concept for teams. And so this may take a little while before you do the last session, but that said, you will get to the last session, which is called results. As I mentioned earlier, we are doing a webinar in this month, April. On April 17th, we'll be doing a webinar. I'll put that webinar link in the comment section here, depending where you're watching this. It'll be a full briefing of the program. We'll go through the report. We'll go through the concepts. We'll go through delivery. So if you're a trainer and want to deliver this program, or if you're a team leader and want us to come in and do it for you, you may want to listen into the webinar and learn more about this program. I'm also offering a free team consultation. So if you're a team leader and you think your team needs some extra help, let me know, and I'd be happy to do a free hour consultation with you about what's going on with your team. So to get back to our program, so at this point in the program, we had talked about comparison reports, the one-on-one meetings, and the one-on-one reports that we run in Module 3. So by now, you should have had most of these meetings. Your team should have had most of these meetings, these one-on-one meetings. So you want to get some feedback in that last module on how the meetings were going, what were they learning, what was working about them. And if they aren't working on those meetings, why? It's very important to have these one-on-one meetings. But eventually, we'll get to the results module. So as always, we go to the assessment first. And let's find out what the assessment assesses on the team, what it asks the team. So it asks the team 4 questions to start with. Team members value collective success more than individual achievement. And again, we work with a lot of teams, and it's all about me. It's all about my department, because that's the #1 area I'm really responsible for. I appreciate working on this team, but my responsibility is really in my area. So how do you get that mindset to change from me to we, if you will? The second one, team members willingly make sacrifices in their areas for the good of the team. And I'm willing to sacrifice my performance a bit or my results a bit for the benefit of the team. So the team assesses that. When the team fails to achieve collective goals, each member takes personal responsibility to improve the team's performance. Does that really work on your team? Or is it someone else's responsibility? Is the boss's responsibility to make sure the team results are there? And last, team members are quick to point out the contributions and achievements of others. So if somebody is successful on the team, do you give them a kind of a attaboy, that cheering of each other on the team? We work with a lot of teams that do this, recognizing folks and cheering them on is great. But then again, we work with teams where it doesn't happen so much. So how's it working for your team? So we go through that part of the program and results. But at this part of the program, we also start working on a specific issue facing the team. Sometimes it happens in the Module 4. Sometimes it happens in Module 5. Most of the time, at least happens in Module 5, where we ask the team to bring a specific problem to the group. And we spend about an hour or so in either Module 4 partly or Module 5, the whole thing, discussing that issue or that problem or that project they're working on, and to see if we can get the team to a place using the model that we've now taught them to get to start moving this project along. A lot of teams we work with tend to be stuck in projects, and we try to help them restart those projects. So we'll spend some time in Module 5 working on one of those stuck projects, if you will. We may not resolve it, but we'll hopefully put some processes in place. So over the next couple of team meetings, we can continue working on that. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But then we go to a part of the assessment again where are some of the common distractions to keep the team from focusing on results. And again, the team surveys themselves, and we talk about this based on how they're ranked. So are more emphasis on personal goals and team goals affecting your team? Lack of shared rewards affecting your team? emphasis on career status and progression affecting your team, vague or shifting goals. We see this rather regularly in teams. No one knows which way the ship is really going. Inefficient or ineffective processes and structure. I hope this program helps put some of that in place. Lack of drive and urgency of the team. So again, depending on how the team assesses those results are dynamic, and we spend more time deeper diving those results and start putting action plans together. So now we get to the action item of Module 5. Let's talk about that first. As we've talked about in the other modules, there's two parts of this. There's a team action planning part. We break folks down into small groups. They come up with some action items in the results area of the module. And then based on those, individuals come up with their own action items in this particular module. Now, as you remember, we're capturing all these action items in these other modules. We're putting them in the team playbook. So there are three action items for each of the 5 areas now by the time we get to Module 5. So part of the results process is to have the team select a couple of these items that are action items from all the modules and make them the top priority of the team moving forward. So again, we break folks down into small groups, and they take a look at these dozen or so action items from these 5 modules, and we say, okay, these are the 2 or 3 that need the team's attention right away. And the team selectively, collectively selects those 2 or 3 items. And then we break those 2 or 3 items down to small groups, and each group comes up with a specific action plan along with measurable results, and those who will be responsible for tracking those results to the larger group. So the team comes up with 2 or 3 action items with action planning, specific items of completion, and 2 or 3 people that are going to own that specific action item. And then we kind of wrap up the program. So in our program, when we wrap up, we do a bit of a graduation ceremony. We give out certificates of completion, and we have like a little rah-rah. Depending on the client, sometimes we'll have a little refreshment, and people are actually done, and they're happy they're done with the program because it's about 20 hours. So it's about 20 hours that they do with us. So we go through that. We go through the kind of graduation ceremony. Everybody comes up, gets their diploma, have a little rah-rah, but then we get back to work because the next couple things that happen are important. First, we try to schedule the next 2 team meetings while we're in the room. And I participate actively in those 2 team meetings. I help the leader of the team craft the agenda because we want to keep some of these concepts alive in the team meetings. So we help put some of those items within the team meetings. We do also want to capture the 2 action items or 3 action items that they've selected. We give them some time to work on those, but obviously we want reports on how those action items are being put into place. So I help the leader of the team craft the first agenda. I actually come to the next team meeting not as a participant, but kind of as a fly on the wall. I don't sit at the table. I kind of sit off to the side, and I kind of watch the team behave and how they're interacting and how the meeting is going. After the meeting, I'll debrief that meeting with the leader, and then we'll work on the second agenda, and we'll put that second agenda together, and then I'll be in the back of the room again for that second team meeting. So we offer to help monitor the next 2 team meetings to make sure these concepts are still in place. We do give the team leaders some tools to help them keep this alive also, if you will. And then we go away for a while. We go away for a few months. The program we offer, the assessment we offer, has the ability to reassess the team. We call it the progress report. So 6, 8, 10 months later, the team can go back into the system and rescore themselves in all of these areas and compare those scores to the first time they took the assessment. You'll see those scores side by side on the progress report, and then I'll come in and we'll facilitate a couple-hour meeting on how the team is doing. We go back and take a look at those action items. We go back and look at their playbook if those things need to be updated. But we really want to see how the team's doing over a course of time, and that's where the program leads us to. So that's kind of Module 5 in a nutshell. Those are the things we do post-session and going forward with the team. It's very important that you keep on working and measuring progress. So that kind of wraps up our 5 modules on teamwork. Again, I'll put the webinar into the comment section here, wherever you're watching this, and hopefully you sign up for the webinar. We'll go back to our new schedule starting next Monday. I'm not going to tell you it's going to be a surprise. So this is Mondays with Michael Live here on Facebook. I want to thank you all for hanging out, watching this. You're watching post-session, and make your team better. Take care.